What's up, everybody? So we've got draw.io behind me and a stick figure. So I think we know this means it's going to be either a terrible or a great series, no in between. But exactly am I doing? Well, I wanted to recreate a centralized auth server project, which I've done in the past before. I don't have one currently online, but I would like one. So what exactly does that mean? Well, creating your own centralized auth server allows you to authenticate, by registering via one app. And if your other app also uses that centralized auth server, you immediately are registered for both effectively. So a user on one is a user on all sites using that, which can be kind of handy and cut down on development time for smaller projects. So I wanted to do something like that. And I had this crazed idea at the same time. What if it's not an express auth server that's actually evaluating the auth, but instead a server at random in a different programming language? So let's look at kind of the diagram I've got here. We've got you, my user, making a login or registration or token verification request to my express server. But the express server is not doing the auth, it is instead acting as a proxy server, which will, at random, select another web server I code out. Now, I'm coding out these web servers in different programming languages, some that I do have experience with, like Python, for example, others which I have none, like Rust or Go. It will select one of those at random, then authenticate it from my, centralized user database, and then, return the results to my express server, which allows the user to log in or says they're authenticated or not or whatever. But I'm also approaching this from the perspective of what is it like coding out this web server from a Typescript developer's perspective. So I kind of want to make a tier list. There really won't be too much live coding going on in this video series, so it's not quite like anything I've done before. But I'm really just going to go over like the post-coding post-mortem, where I walk over the code I wrote for that web server and talk about what it was like. I'm also going to try to do this with as minimal documentation or resources as I can, which means it's going to be an absolute nightmare trying to code it behind the scenes. And then from there, I'll walk through what it was like adopting that to kind of the programming community's standards for that respective language. And that's how I will evaluate, what the development process was like, and then I can create my tier. So that's just kind of my crazy project idea. And I've actually mostly finished implementing the Python server, and the results might actually be a little interesting in that video because I do actually have experience with Python a little bit, and I've even made Flask web servers before, but I actually was not a fan of the development process. So that will be its own distinct video, and you'll have to wait to see that. So if you want to check that out, go ahead and make sure you're subscribed to our channel, and that way you can see the eventual results of that. But yeah, please wish me luck on this development journey. I'm not exactly married to, any languages in particular. So if you do have any suggestions for what I should implement this server in, please let me know. But otherwise, I will catch y'all in number 2 when we evaluate Python.